darf ich euch recht herzlich hoffentlich das letzte Mal in dieser Saison hier begrüßen. Wissen wir dann leider erst am Sonntagabend. Unser Sektor ist längst ausverkauft in Graz. Spielbeginn bitte wichtig für alle, die vorhaben, es anzuschauen. 14:30 Uhr, das wurde ja relativ kurzfristig noch vorverlegt. Und ich freue mich, dass sich unser Trainer wie gewohnt heute Zeit nimmt. Am Anfang noch, wir haben das auch auf der Website geschrieben, auch auf diesem Weg offiziell unser großes Mitgefühl, tiefes Mitgefühl auszudrücken. Nach dem Tode von Freddy Data, der auch hier bei uns immer ein sehr, sehr gern gesehener, geschätzter Gast war und leider viel zu früh verstorben ist. Aber es wäre sicher in seinem Sinne, dass wir über Fußball reden. Coach, the next important game is in front of us against Sturm Graz. Ideally our last game of the season. For the opponents, their last chance to defend the title if they win. For us, big chance to get direct to an European place for European competition. How important is this game for you personally and, of course, for the whole club and squad?
Yeah, I'm only thinking about what it means to the club. I think that's the important part. Yeah, like you said, I think everyone here in the building hope that this will be the last game for us this season. Not because we don't like to play football, but because it will tell us that we have a better position and we have qualified for a European competition. So we will do everything we can to get a good result on Sunday. Of course, you mentioned it's an important game. It's also a game where there's some scenarios that comes into play, which we of course have touched a little bit upon, but will also make it very clear on the tactical meeting Sunday with the players how we cope with the different scenarios. Because end of the day, it's two teams who needs a win. I don't think it will affect too much of the game in the start, and probably not in the first half, but it can be something that can open up in different ways the last 20 minutes. Let's say it's still a draw in the game, the last 20 minutes, how will that affect that? And we have to be on top of that, and we have to have that prepared as well. So it's a game like all the others, but also a game with some scenarios that is important for us to be aware of. So most important is that we have done everything we possibly can to prepare the guys for the game on Sunday. So that's on our side.
Thanks, Coach. Our captain, Matti Seidel, will be out again. The protest about the length of the ban was refused from the league. How are you dealing with this? How harsh is this decision from your point of view?
Very hard. So we have also suspended him from the press conference today. So he's not a part of that. No, I think it's very hard, and I think it's not because of the tackle itself. Because in my opinion, when I've seen it again, it is a red card, and we're not complaining about that. But we're more curious, I would say, about the line in these decisions. Because, like I said to you guys who asked me the question straight away after the red card, and also the days after, I think we have looked probably 30 incidents through with red cards in the league, and we cannot find the line. We cannot see the difference between receiving a 2-game ban or 1+1 or only 1. And I think we have managed to find some tackles that are much, much harder than the one that Matti did that only have costed 1-game ban or a 1+1. So it's the line we are complaining about, and it's the line that we cannot understand. And that's the reason why I think it's hard, not because of the challenge itself, but because it's not clear enough when to get 2 and when to get 1.
Thanks. Last question from my side. Do you have any other news from the squad situation? The last game you had to put out Jannis Horn already after some minutes because of injury.
Yeah, it was a hard tackle where he hurt both his ankle and his knee in the same situation. It was trying to play on, but it was too difficult for him. There was too much pain. So the first couple of days after, it was to get that pain to go away. It's still there. We tried him on the pitch today just for a little bit to see if we can get him out a little bit more tomorrow, and then we can take a decision after the final training. But it will be a close call with him, I would say.
Thanks a lot. Darf dann euch bereits Fragen bitten. Later I have some remote questions from a colleague which is usually always here but he's ill, but maybe the colleagues here have similar question and always ready to start. Alex, bitte das Mikrofon an Martin Lang zu geben.
Coach, what makes you feel confident to win the game on Sunday? Because you probably expect Sturm Graz very defensively, don't get a goal by yourself as well, or it's a patient game, a question of patience?
Yeah, it could be a little bit tactical game in the beginning, because a lot of our preparation is also not to open up for transitions, where Sturm is probably one of the better teams in the league. So we have to be very clever when we attack, and we have to keep a very compact shape in everything we do, and first and foremost not to open up some of these spaces that we know they want to develop their chances from. So it's about taking risk, but doing it at the right time, at the right moment. So that sometimes can call for a tactical game. But like I said, it also have to open up at some point, because both teams playing on Sunday will need a win. But we never know when the game will open up. We just have to be prepared for it. So that's the planning so far.
Dankeschön. Bitte, Stefan Grüners für die Austria Presseagentur.
Game against Sturm Graz in April. What are the learnings from this game? It was like no shots on goal from Rapid, I think. So how would you try to get a better result, a better game?
Yeah, probably two questions in one. I would say it's not important for us just to have a lot of shots on goal, because they have a lot of shots against us, Sturm, last time, but all of them was taken outside the box and not from really dangerous situations. I think they had one from just around the edge of the box in first half. There was some missed passes going on from us. That was the biggest chance they had. Then they scored from a set piece, and then of course the second goal that we remember. So it's for us to create bigger chances than just taking shots to make the statistics look good. So that will always be the purpose of our game. But the big thing for us is to stay compact with and without the ball. And probably what we have highlighted is to be even more compact with the ball. So it means that when the center backs they pass it forward in the game, they have to follow the tempo, the speed of the pass. So we don't open up gaps in between us when we do these passes, because we could see last time that these moments hurt us a little bit, where we were not close enough with our back line to our midfield line, and then we opened up for counter-attacks against us. So it's a really collective thing for us. And then, of course, we're constantly working on how to create chances, how to be more efficient when we are in and around the box. We count a lot of situations where we are in the box, where we are just close to it, but we also count two less situations where we turn those into goals or big chances. So that's an ongoing thing for us.
Dankeschön, thank you. Bitte, nochmal Retour zu Martin Lang, Dankeschön.
I have two questions. First of all, it's also because of the situation of Sturm Graz. It's not really a game where you can avoid not to know the results from other pitches, no? Or from the other pitch. It's not possible, or?
No, we have to. We have to. I will hope it doesn't affect us too much, because no matter what the results are in the other games, we need a win. So on our performance and the end result we need, it doesn't really change. It doesn't really affect that. I also don't think it will affect Sturm too much, because they also need a win. They cannot use a draw for anything. So no matter what, it's two teams that know what they are on the pitch for. So, but we have to have it in the back of our heads, and we have to, of course, have some information during the game so we know exactly what's going on.
And nevertheless, especially if Rapid win the game, you're a so-called party crasher. Is this a special feeling to be a party crasher or not? I mean, of course, it's football and it needs results for everyone, but at the end, you're a party crasher.
I would like to hold the party myself instead of crashing too many. So with a win for us on Sunday, I think it's, I don't know if it's going to be a party, but it will at least be a good end to the season. So I focus more than what we can celebrate after the game with a win, instead of focusing on what we can destroy. But of course, no matter what, there will be one disappointed team on the pitch, if not two.
Dankeschön. So, bitte, Martin, kannst du noch eines nach hinten geben zu Thomas Muck? Bitte schön.
Coach, I have two questions concerning about the derby. You find quite hard words about the performance of the team. Normally, when a coach choosing hard words, as a coach, you want to see a reaction in the practice sessions, how the team react, how the team behave. Did you see it, and did you like it?
Yeah, I use some hard words, but also I think I also said that it's where we are as a team, that there's ups and downs, and there's been the whole season for us, and it takes some time for us to change that and get that solidness into the group and consistency into the group, where when we are not performing as good as we want, we should at least get a draw in the games. And I think the Austria game is not the only one, where again, when I look the game through and when I see the amount of chances that we concede, it's ridiculous that we end up losing a game like that 2-0. But when we're not on our best offensively, we should at least get a draw. And I think there's probably a little handful of other games where that's been the same scenario. So that's not good enough, and something we have to improve and simply do better in the future. Your question was, I'm so bad when you ask two questions, but it was one, right?
The second part of the question is, did you see a reaction to your...
Yes. No, we spoke to the group, of course, after the game, just to get the feelings in the room and see, okay, how did the players feel it inside? What was the reason for certain things? I think, especially the first goal, we are too slow to react on the situation. We have enough time to prepare ourselves better, to find better positions to defend the possible cross, but also to avoid the cross. So it's those moments where, why is it we switch off a little bit? Why is it we are not reacting quick enough to possible dangers in the game? And that's something we show the players, but also talked about. And then we have tried this week to open up for a little bit more competitive training, not necessarily showing the players the lineup for Sunday too early. Even today we have had a little bit of a mix, so it's not just given who should play. There's also room to fight for a position if you do well in training. And I've done also some games where it's been less tactical, but more with the purpose of winning the games out there and winning your individual duels and winning your individual fights and showing the fire and the energy. But I also have to be absolutely honest and say that I cannot complain too much with the level of quality in training that these guys have showed throughout the season. I think our biggest area for improvement is to bring that into the games. But I also have to be realistic and say it's not a matter of a couple of weeks to do that. It will take some time. So we just have to be as good as we possibly can be.
Coach, since you arrived and before your time here, every time when these groups of players has their backs against the wall, when everybody was tell them they are not good enough, they came back in the next couple of games. They come back in the next game.
Yeah.
Do you see any reason for it? Why they make a step up when they are really nailed against the wall?
That tells me that there's character in the group, but on the other side, it also tells me that there's probably not enough of it yet, because we have had a couple of opportunities this season. If we go back to the last game we played against Sturm, we had the possibility to go 1 in the Meistergruppe with a win in that game. But on the backside of that, it was not a top performance from us. I would actually say it's one of the games that still hurts me a little bit, because I don't think we were up to our standards in that game. And I also think in that game, again, we conceded 2 easy goals, where it's not because we are completely outplayed. It comes a little bit out of nothing. So that still hurts me a little bit, but it tells me that there's character in the group. We can always bounce back. And it's not because I see players here from Monday to Saturday where they are not believing in their own qualities or not believing in the team. I never see that. So I step into every game with the belief that we can win it. But like I said a couple of times now, it also tells me that there's still some way to go for us to build that consistency into the group. And it takes a very, very clear way of playing, because when you are in trouble in the game, when you're facing problems in the game, what you have to do is to go back and say, okay, I just have to do what we train. And there's the gap sometimes. There's the room for improvement sometimes, where we can see we start to do something different. We start to do something else when the pressure comes in the games and when there's tension in the games. And there we're not good enough as a team. But yeah, like I said, that's the part we have to develop, because we can show we can bounce back, and I 100% believe that we can bounce back again on Sunday. But it's the 5 games in a row where we have to show that same quality in every game.
Coach, let's talk about the Sunday game against Sturm Graz. What were the key factors which would lead to the W for your team in the best point of view? My feelings is that the first team that makes the first big mistake will lose it.
Then we have to not make too many mistakes, and definitely not the first one. I think it could potentially be a little bit a game like last time, where we will be on the ball a little bit more than them. They will be looking for the counter-attack possibilities for them, so they will be looking for our mistakes. They will be looking to play a little bit more direct game that often causes set pieces and throw-ins and corner kicks and these situations. So we have trained some different things in our pressing. So how do we avoid to open up the spaces that they need and that they want? That's an important part of the preparation into the game. So we don't open it up too early and too easy. And then on the ball, a combination between still being patient with the ball, but also having opportunities to be a little bit more direct in the game. Because when I also look at the Sturm team, they actually quite often concede some counter-attacks against them, where especially when they are a little bit higher up the pitch and they bring up their wing-backs, there's some space against that three-back line. I think Hartberg actually had quite a few chances against them in the last game where they exactly managed to find that space. We had a couple of situations, if not a handful, in first half against them. I remember the press conference after where we especially spoke about Nicky Wurmbrand and all his 1v1 situations in first half against Sturm that didn't create anything for us, but it was really dangerous moments. So it's those moments in the game that we try to give even more solutions and even more clear solutions to the players, what we expect and what they can do.
Coach, final question from my side from now. It's a bit a hypothetical one. When the score is 0-0 or 1-1 deep in the second half after around an hour, there will be a point where you have to go all in, where you take all risks. Are you prepared for a scenario like this? Or will it be just like the flow of the game where you decide when to take the major risk?
Yeah, it is like we have prepared 2 to 3 scenarios, how we can chase. But there's also an opponent to this game, where, let's say, 20 minutes to go, score is 0-0 or 1-1. We also have to see what they're doing. Because a way to win a game can also be on counterattacks. So if they invest heavily up front and put a lot of players up front, and we can see there's a lot of space for our counterattacks, then that's the way we have to hurt them. But if they don't invest too many players up front and it's us being more on the ball, then it's a different scenario. Then it's different players we need on the pitch. So we have different scenarios prepared. We have different solutions prepared. But end of the day, we have to wait and see how the game goes before we can decide what of the scenarios that we're going to use.
Danke, Thomas. Bitte zum Alex Huber. Alex, Mikro ist hinter dir.
Coach, I want to talk once more about the set pieces. Because Sturm Graz is one of the best teams, and they scored in Vienna the first goal. I think it was the first corner goal against Rapid in the whole season this time. And what do you think is the main problem now? Because at the moment, your set pieces perfect, and the others you concede goals.
Yeah, the main problem is that now we have conceded a couple of set piece goals in a row that have decided the game. So that affects the confidence and the self-belief to handle these situations. Like everything else in football, if you concede a couple of goals from low defending, then you start questioning, okay, is it right what we are doing here? If you concede from counter-attacks, then you start questioning that part of the game, which is natural. So it means that we have probably put an extra focus into this, but also not overdoing it. Like, you can also talk too much about a thing, and then you actually start to create problems by talking about it too much. So we've just highlighted the few things that we think is the important ones. One is to avoid it. And that we have succeeded with in some of our best games against some of the teams that are really good on set pieces, actually to avoid giving away too many free kicks and too many corner kicks. That's the first part. Second part is there's some key positions that we work closely with to say, okay, for us to succeed in this part of the game, we need this and this and this to be right. So that's the focus that we have taken into this. And again, like everything we do, it's a collective part. So we have someone responsible for it, but it's a part that we discuss all of the coaches the days where we train it.
And when I remember Yusuf Demir in his first time with Rapid, he was very good with set pieces.
Yeah.
Is this idea of you to start with him because he could be maybe the better one in your team to shoot perfect set pieces?
Yeah, he's definitely an option also because of that. Also because he gives us a little bit of a threat from outside the box. I think, like I said to the question, just some questions before, is like it's not important for me to have 25 shots on goals. It's important for me where we take those shots from. Just to give an example, the second goal Sturm scored against us, it would probably be a goal 1 out of 100. So that's not important for me to take shots from that position. But it's important for us that we get the right players into the right position. And a player like Jussi is a player who can shoot from distance and give us another weapon offensively that we probably have needed. So he can give us that, and then he can give us the set piece threat. So he's in contention as a starter.
Dankeschön. Bitte, Martin.
Because probably the last question, for good reason, it's a little bit offside football. You travel on Saturday, I suppose, to Graz?
Yeah.
So, European Song Contest voting is after midnight. I suppose team probably shouldn't watch so late, but Denmark is one of the favorites to win it. Do you watch? Yeah, do you watch? Because normally ESC is also very popular in Denmark, and they've won in the last 20 years very often. So, everybody's watching, everybody's looking. Do it by yourself, watching, looking, talking, and especially voting is after midnight, no?
Yeah, that's a shame. I cannot vote then, because then I will be sleeping. No, I'm very ashamed to say this, but I don't even know who's representing Denmark. I don't even know the name of the group or the singer. Is it a? Sounds like a winner. I remember.
Do you think the pronunciation was right?
I remember the Olsen brothers back in the days, the two guys with the guitar. They won it, and I was a little bit younger and were probably paying more attention to the Eurovision Song Contest back then. No, I think after midnight I will be sleeping, and my feeling is that not too many of the players, they are too interested in the song contest. With all due respect, so I also think that they will be sleeping.
Okay.
Who do you think will win?
Thomas hat noch eine Frage abseits des Eurovision Song Contests. Wahrscheinlich abseits des Eurovision.
Yes, I have. The Danish singer sounds like a midfield player, but okay. Coach, I ask you a lot about the evaluation of your players, the development of the players, the development of the culture, the development of the program, but nearly at the finish line of this half season. Let's ask about you and your coaching team. How did you develop? Where are points where you said we done a good job? Where are the points where you say we need to do a better job at the next half season?
Yeah, and like always, I think your questions are spot on, because it's an interesting topic. I think as a coaching staff, we evaluate quite a lot, and we take probably every third or fourth week to sit down and go everything through, and that's the phases of the game. That's the training sessions. That's the daily life here at the training center. It's our individual tasks in between us as a coaching staff. And I think what we did in the start actually was to, after the cup game in Ried, was to take a step back, and we could see that at the moment it's not really important with all our ideas and all our style of play, thoughts and stuff like that. It's much more on a personal, mental level, which we had to then work with and try to get that right, and try to open up for a room here that is much more safe than they've probably been used to. I still get a lot of questions about how can I stay optimistic and not being too pessimistic. But it's the only way I believe that you can develop a team by showing them that you believe in them. So that's been a big part of the way that we work, and also the selection of clips and training drills that we do, probably a little bit more than I expected, but that comes from some evaluation that we have done. Then we constantly work with our game, and we take the games, we break them down, and we see where we're good, where we're not good enough. And I think, to give you a clear answer, I think build up from the back, we are quite good. It's very few teams that manage to really put us under pressure. I think some of the mistakes we have done are not because of pressure, but because of simple quality and decisions that is not good enough. I think our breakthrough stuff, so chance creation, is not good enough. So that's a part of the game where we have to look at how we can improve, and especially how do we transfer a lot of the time we have on the ball to putting much more pressure on the opponents. So that's a big topic for us. Then I think actually our defensive unit has been working well for us, especially in some of the high-pressured games. Remember, we have 3 clean sheets against Red Bull Salzburg, who's one of the most scoring teams in the league. So that part I've been satisfied with. Then we have still conceded chances and goals that should never be goals. Some of them individual mistakes, some of them more collective mistakes, but still sometimes it takes the opponent too few chances to score against us, where that part I'm not satisfied about. Our high pressing, we can see it's been successful, so we force a lot of long balls from the opponents, but now we actually have to take a step where we actually make them play a little bit more, so we can intercept it on their half and create chances from it, instead of having long balls to defend all the time. So there's constantly development in the group, and where we have to go. But all of this is within the style of play that we have, and within the principles that we work with, because there's a direction I want this team to be able to go. And that is for you guys in this room to remember our best performances, and then say, okay, that's the way we want to play, and we want to be able to do it 4 out of 5 times. And that takes a lot of training, a lot of practice, probably also still a little bit of recruitment. And then hopefully we will be there. I don't know when, but hopefully sooner than later.
Coach, and the final question is about you personally. You're now in Vienna for over half a year. Vienna is statistically the city with the highest living quality, but the people of Vienna statistically are the most friendliest, and in other statistics, the most unfriendliest people in the world. So how are your first 6 or 7 months in Vienna? How did you...
Friendly and not friendly.
Yeah.
Yes, okay. That's the funny thing about statistics.
So they beat you up and show you the way to the hospital.
Some maybe, I don't know. So the question is, how did the people treat you? How did the people welcome you? And would you say the statistic that say Vienna is the most friendliest city is right, or Vienna is the most unfriendliest city is right?
We're in the direction of a song contest again, huh? So we are very, very good. Thanks. There's been absolutely nothing, but also don't expect that there will be any situations, because end of the day we are human beings that works with football, and we have to pay each other respect, no matter if we lose or win games. And I think that's how it goes. And I'm very, very honest, and I'm open, and the ones that come and wants to talk to me when I'm walking in the city center, or when I'm having a coffee at a coffee bar or whatever, if they want to come and talk to me, I'm always open for a conversation, and I show them that respect. But then I also tell them, if the tone of voice is not respectful enough, then I say, then we just stop the conversation. There is no more talking about. So regards of that, there's been absolutely nothing, and I only see people that is very curious about how we do things, because actually a lot can see what we are about to change, but they can also see that we are not really there yet, and we are not really competitive enough yet. But they are interested in, what is the process? What is it you are actually doing? What is it you are working with every day? How is it you are working with the players and the staff and all these kinds of things? So it's only been very good so far. I like the city, like I've said many times. I think it's a beautiful city. I like the emotions, the passion is also, because that is also needed to drive a professional football club. And as soon as, or as late as, what was it, last Thursday, I think, we had a big sponsor event where I also sat in the couch as answering questions from them, where I think 8 out of 10 questions were quite positive, were in the direction where they could see that we have started something here that hopefully will be successful and sustainable for the future. But of course also a couple of critical questions. But as long as they are asked respectfully, then I always ask them honestly.
The event was Thursday, 1 week ago, yes. But Martin, hört man den nicht?
I think in more detail, the question from Thomas is if there have ever been situations, offside football probably, where you got lost in the city, or
where I got lost in the city.
Lost in the city. Or if you lost in the city, where is it private situations? If you have and if people are friendly enough or not, or help you or not, or I think, or
I've only witnessed very friendly people. I don't know if it's because the neighborhood that I live in, or because I'm a good-looking Scandinavian guy. Here you're supposed to laugh. No, I don't know. It's been very easygoing. It's been very friendly, and I see a lot of people who wants to talk football, and I also allow them to talk football. I try to take the time, even though I'm out doing groceries or whatever I have to do. I try to take the time when there's some questions, and I think and I believe that behavior also opens up for respect amongst each other. So I see friendly people, and like I said, I like being here.
Okay, and then we have the last question from our remote questions we've got from your colleague Portal. I think the only one which was not the topic today is, with best greetings from him, what are your thoughts on squad planning for the upcoming season? How far along are you, and have you already made any decisions regarding which players you want to continue to work? And it's one question, more questions, and will the next game, probably the next games, also be a kind of character test for the squad and have any influence for middle-term decisions?
Yeah, the thing is about it, of course, there's a difference if we play Europe or not, and that will always, for every club in Europe, that will make a difference in terms of budget. So, we have to do everything we can to qualify for that, and that also affects the squad planning a little bit. So we have some different scenarios that we're working from. First of all, we have the players where we can see probably already from the start of the season, but also from winter time, that there's getting more and more interest regarding these players. And there we simply have to have prepared, okay, what do we do if we miss out a midfielder or defender or striker in this position? What do we do? What is our first priority, our second and third? So that's how we work. And then, of course, we can see that there's some areas on the pitch where we will benefit from having not necessarily more quality, but probably more solutions, which will also open up for more competition in the training. So we are looking at it constantly, but there's some scenarios that we have to wait and see, of course, what kind of difference it will make.
Thanks a lot. Danke für euer Interesse. Coach, thanks for your time. And
Thank
interesting news, and hope to don't see you next week. And that's not impolite, because if we don't see them, we
I know.
again. Okay, danke schön.